Come closer, my child. Not in haste, not in fear, but in the quiet way your heart already knows. Breathe and let the noise loosen its grip. This moment is not accidental. You did not wander here by chance. I have been drawing you gently, patiently, through questions you could not name and restlessness you could not escape. Now you are here, and that is enough for now. There is a stillness beneath all the motion of your life. A place where you are not behind, not lacking, not forgot. You. I am speaking from there. I am not calling you to perform or to prove yourself. I am calling you to remember who you are and why your presence in this world matters more than you have allowed yourself to believe. You may feel tired. You may feel unsure if you have anything left to give. You may wonder if your small, quiet faithfulness could possibly matter in a world that feels loud and urgent. I know these thoughts. I have heard them forming in you long before you gave them words. I have not turned away from them, and I have not turned away from you. Let your shoulders rest. Let your breath slow. You do not need to rush ahead to understand everything. This is a threshold, not a demand. A gentle opening, not a shove. As you listen, allow yourself to be held by the truth that you are seen, wanted, and needed, not for what you can achieve, but for who you are becoming. Stay with me here. There is something important I want you to hear. My beloved, hear this clearly, without fear twisting it and without doubt dulling its meaning. You are urgently needed. Not because the world is demanding more from you, but because there is something within you that has been prepared for this precise moment. When I say I need you, I am not speaking from lack. I am speaking from intention, from design, from love that has been watching the time approach. There are seasons when waiting is holy, and there are seasons when hesitation quietly becomes disobedience to your own becoming. This is not a message for someday. This is not a message meant to be saved and revisited when life feels easier. This moment carries weight because you are standing at an intersection where delay would cost you more than effort ever could. You have sensed it, even if you tried to ignore it. A subtle pressure, a holy discomfort, a knowing that what once fit no longer does. You have outgrown certain silences, certain compromises, certain ways of shrinking to keep the peace. That unrest is not a flaw in you. It is the signal that something is ready to move. I am not calling you because you are the loudest, the strongest, or the most certain. I am calling you because you listen, even when you are afraid. Because you care, even when it costs you. Because you feel deeply in a world that numbs itself to survive. The urgency you feel is not panic. It is alignment trying to happen. Understand this, my child. Urgency does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet persistence that will not leave you alone. A thought that returns when the room is silent. A tug you feel when you consider staying the same. That is me, reminding you that your presence matters now, not after you feel ready, not after you feel worthy, but now. There are people you will reach simply by being who you are becoming. There are spaces that will soften because you chose courage over comfort. You are not meant to carry the whole world, but there is a portion that responds to your voice, your compassion, your willingness to show up honestly. If you step back, that portion remains untouched. Do not mistake urgency for pressure. I am not rushing you. I am awakening you. I am asking you to lift your eyes and see that the door before you is open, and it will not remain open forever. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to focus you. I need you present. I need you awake. I need you willing to say yes before you have every detail mapped out. Trust that I am already where I am calling you to step. You are not late. You are not early. You are right on time, and your response matters more than you know. Stay with me. There is more I want to unfold with you. My child, before you take another step forward, you must hear this with clarity and tenderness. You have never been invisible to me. Not in your strongest moments, and not in the hours when you felt forgotten even by yourself. I have seen the long nights where your thoughts would not rest. I have seen the questions you carried quietly so you would not burden anyone else. I have seen the strength you used just to keep going when stopping felt safer. You often wonder if the parts of you shaped by pain disqualify you from being needed. You replay moments where you feel you failed, hesitated, or chose survival over courage. You tell yourself stories about how much further along you should be by now. But listen closely, my beloved. None of this has been wasted. Not the delays. Not the detours. Not even the disappointments you still do not fully understand. Every tear taught you how to notice the quiet suffering of others. Every season of waiting stretched your capacity for patience and depth. Every time you felt overlooked softened your heart instead of hardening it. These were not accidents. They were forming you in ways comfort never could. You are not behind. You are layered. You are not broken. You are becoming. I know the ache you carry of wanting to matter in a way that feels real. Not impressive. Not loud. Just meaningful. You have wanted your life to count, not in grand gestures, but in truth. You have longed to be used gently, not consumed. To be called without being crushed by the weight of expectation. I know this longing. I placed it in you. You have been strong for others when no one noticed the cost. You have held space when your own heart felt empty. You have chosen kindness even when bitterness would have felt justified. Do not dismiss these things as small. I have been with you in every quiet choice that shaped your character when no applause followed. You feared that your doubts made you unreliable. You feared that your sensitivity made you weak. You feared that your questions meant you lacked faith. But I tell you now, these things have made you honest. They have made you humble. They have kept you close to compassion instead of certainty. And this closeness matters more than you realize. I see the ways you almost gave up and the ways you didn't. I see how you learned to function while hurting. I see how you learned to smile while longing for rest. I see how you tried to disappear at times because standing out felt too risky. None of this repels me. It draws me nearer. Hear me clearly, precious one. You do not need to edit your story to be useful. You do not need to erase your wounds to be worthy. You do not need to pretend you are stronger than you are. I am not calling an idealized version of you. I am calling the real you, shaped by both light and shadow, softened by life, and still willing to listen. You are known more deeply than you know yourself. Even the parts you avoid looking at, I hold with care. Even the fears you cannot name, I understand fully. You have never been a burden to me. You have never been too much. You have never been overlooked. Rest in this truth for a moment. Let it settle into the places where shame once lived. You are seen. Completely. Lovingly. Without condition. And from this place of being fully known, I am calling you forward, not to prove yourself, but to finally trust that your life has always been held with purpose. Stay with me. The moment ahead is closer than you think. My beloved, there comes a moment in every life when the air feels different. You may not hear a sound, yet something within you recognizes it. This is that moment. A threshold does not announce itself loudly. It simply waits quietly until you decide whether you will step forward or turn back into what is familiar. You are standing there now, even if your mind tries to convince you otherwise. A threshold is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is the space between who you have been and who you are ready to become. You have crossed many unseen thresholds already, but this one carries a deeper weight because it asks for your consent. Not your effort. Not your certainty. Your consent. You have felt the pull toward clarity, even as part of you clings to what is known. You have sensed that continuing as you are would require you to dim something essential within yourself. This is not condemnation. This is awareness. Drifting is easy because it asks nothing of you. Clarity asks you to choose, and choice always feels costly before it feels freeing. Do not confuse this moment with pressure. I am not standing over you with expectation. I am standing beside you with invitation. The urgency here is not about speed. It is about alignment. When the time is right, waiting no longer protects you. It only delays the peace you were meant to walk in. You may be tempted to tell yourself that you will respond later when you feel stronger, calmer, or more prepared. But listen gently, my child. Preparation is not what opens the door. Willingness does. If you wait until you feel fearless, you will wait a long time. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move with me despite it. This threshold matters because something in you is awakening that cannot be put back to sleep. You cannot unknow what you now sense. You cannot return fully to old patterns without feeling the ache of misalignment. This is not punishment. It is growth. It is the signal that you are ready for more truth, more depth, more honesty with yourself. I know part of you wonders what happens if you step forward and fail. I know another part wonders what happens if you step forward and succeed, and your life changes more than you expected. Both questions are understandable. Both reveal how much this moment matters to you. Hear this carefully. You are not choosing between safety and danger. You are choosing between staying numb and becoming alive, between drifting on autopilot and walking with intention, between shrinking to fit what was and expanding into what is unfolding. Clarity will not come from standing still. It comes from movement, from saying yes to the next right step, even if the whole path remains unseen. I am not asking you to leap into the unknown alone. I am asking you to place your trust in the ground beneath your feet, even if you cannot yet see where it leads. You have been circling this moment longer than you realize. Conversations, longings, disruptions, and quiet confirmations have been aligning to bring you here. Nothing has been rushed. Nothing has been delayed. This is the now that has been forming slowly and patiently. Take a breath here. Feel the steadiness beneath you. You are not losing anything essential by stepping forward. You are shedding what no longer belongs. The door before you is not closing behind you in threat. It is opening ahead of you in promise. Do not let fear decide for you. Fear only knows the past. I know what is coming. I know the strength that will rise in you once you say yes. This threshold is not asking you to be someone else. It is asking you to be fully yourself, without apology. When you are ready, even if your hands tremble, step with me. The clarity you seek is not on the other side of certainty. It is on the other side of trust. My child, before you move further, I want to gently name what has been standing in your way. Not to shame you, not to expose you, but to free you. Barriers lose their power when they are seen clearly in the light, and I am with you now, holding that light steady. One of the first barriers you have carried is doubt. Not loud doubt, but the quiet kind that whispers questions late at night. The kind that asks whether you truly heard me, whether you misunderstood the stirring in your heart, whether you are imagining this sense of calling because you want it to be true. This doubt has made you cautious. It has made you second-guess your own discernment. But doubt is not your enemy. It is simply a sign that you care deeply about truth. It does not define you. Another barrier has been fear. Not dramatic fear, but the practical fear of consequences. Fear of disappointing others. Fear of choosing wrong and having to live with the results. Fear that if you step forward, you will be exposed in ways you cannot control. This fear has tried to protect you by keeping you small, convincing you that safety lies in staying where you are. But fear only knows how to preserve. It does not know how to fulfill. You have also carried hesitation born from exhaustion. You have been strong for a long time. You have adapted, endured, and kept going even when your inner reserves felt low. Part of you wonders if you have the energy to respond to another calling, another invitation, another stretch. This is not laziness. This is weariness. And weariness is not a character flaw. It is a signal that you have been giving more than you have received. There have been external voices as well. Opinions, expectations, unspoken pressures that shaped how you see yourself. Some told you to be realistic. Some told you to be grateful and not want more. Some taught you to measure your worth by productivity or approval. These voices settled quietly into your thinking, and over time, they began to sound like your own. But they are not your truth. Confusion has also played its part. You have wanted clarity before commitment, guarantees before trusts. You have wanted the full picture before taking the first step. This desire makes sense. But clarity rarely comes all at once. It comes in pieces, revealed through movement, not paralysis. Confusion is not proof that you are incapable. It is proof that you are standing at the edge of growth. I want you to hear this clearly, my beloved. None of these barriers are who you are. They are experiences you have had. They are responses you learned. They are weights you picked up while trying to survive, to belong, to do your best with what you knew at the time. But they are not your identity. You are not your doubt. You are not your fear. You are not your exhaustion. You are not the voices that underestimated you. You are not the confusion that clouds your next step. These things may have surrounded you, but they have never owned you. I have watched you mistake these barriers for truths about yourself. I have watched you say, "This is just how I am," when in reality, it was only how you learned to cope. I have watched you shrink your hopes to avoid disappointment. I have watched you delay your response because standing still felt safer than risking change. But hear me now. What once protected you may now be restricting you. And that does not make you wrong. It means you are growing beyond the need for those defenses. I am not asking you to fight these barriers aggressively. I am asking you to loosen your grip on them, to see them for what they are. Temporary. Understandable. Not permanent. They do not disqualify you. They do not cancel my calling. They do not surprise me. You do not need to clear every obstacle before moving forward. You only need to stop letting them speak as if they are your authority. I am still here. I am still leading. And I am not intimidated by what you carry. Let this be the moment you separate who you are from what has been weighing on you. You are more than your resistance. You are more than your fear. You are more than the story you have been telling yourself. Stay with me. As these barriers loosen, something true will rise, and you will recognize yourself again, not as broken or behind, but as ready. My beloved, now that you have seen what has been standing in the way, I want you to see what has been waiting for you. Not as a reward you must earn, and not as a bargain you must uphold, but as a promise that has existed long before you felt ready to receive it. This promise is not loud. It does not glitter to persuade you. It rests quietly, steady and sure, because it is rooted in relationship, not transaction. What I am revealing to you is not a future free of difficulty. It is a life anchored in peace that is not dependent on circumstances. A peace that settles into your body, slows your breath, and reminds you that you are not alone inside your own life. You have known moments of this peace before, fleeting and gentle. What awaits you is not a moment, but a way of being. There is healing prepared for you, but not the kind that erases your past as if it never happened. This healing weaves meaning through what once felt senseless. It softens memories that used to tighten your chest. It allows you to remember without reliving the pain. You will still know where you have been, but it will no longer define how you move forward. Clarity is part of this promise as well. Not a rigid plan, not a list of answers, but an inner steadiness that helps you recognize what aligns with you and what does not. You will begin to trust your discernment again. Decisions will feel less like battles and more like conversations. You will not need to force yourself into the right path. You will feel when you are on it. There is restoration here, my child. Restoration of confidence that was slowly eroded by disappointment. Restoration of joy that you set aside because it felt impractical. Restoration of your ability to hope without bracing for impact. This restoration does not rush. It unfolds naturally as you stop living in defense mode and start living in truth. Forward movement is also part of what I promise you. Not frantic striving, not endless doing, but progress that feels honest and sustainable. You will no longer feel stuck in cycles that repeat without resolution. You will notice subtle shifts at first. A conversation that opens a door. A decision that feels lighter than expected. A sense that you are finally walking with the current instead of against it. Understand this clearly. I am not promising you admiration, recognition, or ease. I am promising you companionship. I am promising that you will not walk alone into what is next. I am promising that when you feel unsure, you will not be abandoned to figure everything out by yourself. My presence goes with you, not as pressure, but as support. You have spent too long believing that peace must be postponed until everything is resolved. That joy must wait until you are certain. That rest is only allowed after you prove yourself. This promise gently contradicts all of that. Peace comes as you walk, not after you arrive. Healing unfolds as you trust, not after you understand. There is also a deepening of connection awaiting you. With yourself, with others, with life itself. As you release the need to perform, you will find that authenticity draws the right people closer and allows the wrong connections to loosen naturally. You will no longer have to chase belonging. You will recognize it by the way your spirit can breathe. My child, this promise is not fragile. It will not vanish if you stumble. It will not withdraw if you have questions. It is steady because it is rooted in who I am with you, not in how well you respond. I am not dangling something in front of you to motivate compliance. I am revealing what becomes accessible when you choose alignment over avoidance. Let this truth settle gently. You are not stepping toward loss. You are stepping toward wholeness. Not a perfection that exhausts you, but an integrity that holds you together. This is what has been waiting. This is what I am offering. And it is closer than you think, already unfolding as you listen and allow yourself to believe that something good can meet you here. My child, this is the place where many pause, not because they do not desire what is ahead, but because release feels more vulnerable than holding on. Surrender has been misunderstood in your life. You were taught that letting go meant losing control, losing dignity, losing yourself. But what I am inviting you into now is not loss. It is exchange. Sacred, intentional, and deeply kind. You have been carrying things that were never meant to stay in your hands this long. Old guilt that resurfaces when you are tired. Responsibility that belongs to everyone, but somehow settled on your shoulders. Anxiety that convinces you to stay alert even when your body longs to rest. You learned to carry these things because you had to survive. But survival is not the same as living, and you are no longer meant to live bent under that weight. Surrender begins quietly. It does not demand dramatic gestures or perfect words. It begins when you admit, honestly and without self-judgment, that what you are carrying is heavy. When you stop defending the burden as if it proves your strength. When you allow yourself to consider that you do not have to manage everything alone to be worthy or responsible. I'm not asking you to empty yourself into nothingness. I am asking you to place what hurts, what exhausts, what confuses you into hands that know how to hold them without dropping you. This is not about giving up your agency. It is about releasing what has been draining it. There is a sacred exchange that happens here. As you loosen your grip on control, you receive trust. As you release guilt, you receive mercy that does not interrogate your past. As you lay down anxiety, you receive steadiness that anchors you in the present moment. This exchange is not force. It unfolds as naturally as breathing out and then breathing in. You may fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart. But notice how much you have already been holding together through sheer effort. Notice how tired you have become trying to anticipate every outcome, protect every relationship, prevent every possible mistake. This is not the life I intended for you. You were not created to live braced for impact. Surrender does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. It means you allow yourself to be guided instead of driven, to be supported instead of constantly self-correcting, to be present instead of perpetually preparing for what might go wrong. There is also surrender of identity happening here. The identity built around being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who never asks for help. That identity once served you. It kept you standing when others could not. But it has also kept you isolated. I am inviting you to release the belief that your value comes from endurance alone. In place of that identity, you receive something gentler and truer. You receive permission to be human without apology. You receive the freedom to rest without guilt. You receive clarity about what is yours to do and what is not. You receive a pace that honors your limits instead of punishing them. This exchange will not strip you of your strength. It will refine it. Strength rooted in surrender is not brittle. It bends without breaking. It listens. It adapts. It knows when to act and when to wait. It does not need to prove itself through exhaustion. You do not need to surrender everything at once. You can place one fear down today, one regret, one expectation that no longer fits. I will meet you there, every time, without impatience. There is no quota, no timeline you must meet. The willingness itself opens the door. Feel the lightness that comes when you imagine your hands empty for a moment. Feel the space created when you stop gripping so tightly. That space is not emptiness. It is room. Room for peace to settle. Room for joy to return quietly. Room for guidance that does not shout. This is the sacred exchange, my beloved. You release what has been weighing you down, and you receive what steadies you from within. You do not become less yourself here. You become more whole. And as you learn this rhythm of release and receiving, you will discover that surrender is not the end of your strength. It is the place where your truest strength begins. My beloved, what unfolds within you must also find its way into how you live. Alignment is not an abstract idea. It is the gentle, daily meeting of your inner truth with your outer choices. This is where peace becomes practical, where the sacred quietly weaves itself into ordinary moments, and where your life begins to feel coherent again. You do not need to overhaul everything at once. Alignment begins small, almost unnoticed. It begins when you pause before reacting and choose presence instead. When you listen to your body's signals instead of overriding them out of habit. When you give yourself permission to move at a pace that allows your soul to keep up. These are not minor decisions. They are acts of faith in the wisdom already placed within you. One of the first alignments is with your time. You have treated time as an enemy, something always slipping away, something you must chase or conquer. But time was meant to be a companion, not a taskmaster. Begin to notice where your energy naturally flows and where it drains away. Not everything that is urgent is important. Not everything that is important will demand loudly. Learn to create small pockets of stillness where you are not producing, fixing, or preparing, but simply being. In these moments, clarity often arrives unannounced. Your focus also longs for alignment. You have been pulled in many directions, fragmented by constant input, comparison, and noise. Gently reclaim your attention. Choose what you allow to shape your inner world. Limit what leaves you feeling scattered or diminished. Return often to what grounds you, what reminds you of who you are becoming. Focus is not about rigidity. It is about devotion to what brings life. Relationships are another place where alignment matters deeply. You may notice a shift happening here. Some connections will deepen as you show up more honestly. Others may feel strained as you stop performing or overgiving. This is not failure. It is recalibration. You are learning to relate from truth instead of obligation, from wholeness instead of depletion. Let your yes be sincere and your no be peaceful. You are allowed to choose relationships that allow your spirit to breathe. Alignment also touches how you steward your energy. You have spent years pushing past your limits, convincing yourself that rest must be earned. But rest is not a reward. It is a requirement for sustainability. Begin to treat your energy as something precious, something to be invested wisely. Notice what restores you, even if it seems simple or unproductive. Walks, silence, creativity, laughter. These are not indulgences. They are nourishment. Let peace become your internal compass. Not the kind of peace that avoids discomfort, but the kind that signals integrity. When a choice brings quiet steadiness, even if it is challenging, pay attention. When something creates constant agitation or self-betrayal, notice that too. Peace will guide you more faithfully than fear ever could, if you allow it to speak. You may stumble as you practice this new way of living. Old habits do not dissolve overnight. You may find yourself overcommitting again, numbing out again, doubting yourself again. When this happens, do not turn on yourself. Simply return. Alignment is not maintained through perfection. It is maintained through willingness to come back to center. I'm with you in the mundane moments as much as the meaningful ones. In how you wake up, in how you listen, in how you choose what matters at the end of the day. You do not need to spiritualize every action. Just live awake. Live honestly. Live gently. As these small alignments accumulate, you will begin to notice something subtle but powerful. Your life will feel less fragmented. Your decisions will feel less forced. Your days will feel more intentional, even when they are full. This is not because everything is easier, but because you are no longer divided against yourself. This is how calling becomes embodied. Not through grand gestures alone, but through consistent, grounded choices that reflect who you truly are. Let alignment be your practice. Let peace be your guide. And trust that as you walk this way, step by step, your life will quietly testify to the truth that you are exactly where you need to be, moving in rhythm with what is unfolding. My child, everything has been leading you here. Not to pressure you, not to corner you, but to place before you a simple, sacred choice. You are not being forced. You are being invited. Choice is where love becomes real, where trust moves from thought into breath and action. This moment does not ask for drama. It asks for honesty. The choice before you is not whether you are capable. You already are. It is not whether you are worthy. You always have been. The choice is whether you will continue to live partially turned away from what you know is stirring within you, or whether you will turn toward it fully, even with trembling hands. You have learned how to live cautiously, how to keep one foot planted in what is familiar while reaching tentatively toward what is new. That posture once protected you, but now it only keeps you divided. This choice is an invitation to stand with both feet present, to stop splitting yourself between longing and fear. You may think the choice is large and overwhelming, but it is actually made of many small yeses. A yes to listening instead of numbing. A yes to honesty instead of performance. A yes to trust instead of endless analysis. Each yes gathers strength. Each yes clears a little more fog. You do not need to make every decision today. You only need to choose direction. There is power in speaking what is true, even quietly, even imperfectly. Words shape the inner landscape of your life. They align your heart with your intention. They remind you of who you are when doubt tries to speak louder. Let these declarations rise not as demands you place on yourself, but as anchors you return to. You can say, even now, that you are willing to be present with your life instead of hiding from it. You can say that you choose trust over control, even when trust feels unfamiliar. You can say that you are open to guidance, open to growth, open to becoming more than your fear has allowed. You can declare that you are not late to your own life, that what has been forming within you is value and timing, that you release the need to prove yourself and accept the invitation to participate fully. You can speak that you are allowed to take up space with integrity and kindness, without apology. These declarations are not magic words. They are reminders. They reorient you when old patterns try to pull you back. They give language to your commitment when motivation fades. Speak them gently. Speak them often. Let them settle into your body until they feel familiar. The choice also includes compassion for yourself. You will not always feel brave. You will not always feel clear. There will be days when old doubts resurface and whisper that nothing has changed. On those days, The choice is simply to return, to remember, to stand again in what you have already said yes to. Do not underestimate the impact of this moment. A quiet choice, made sincerely, can redirect an entire life. Not all at once, but steadily. Like a river adjusting its course, reshaping the land through persistence rather than force. I am not watching to see if you choose correctly. I am with you as you choose honestly. I do not withdraw when you hesitate. I do not punish you for questions. I remain steady and near, honoring your freedom because love requires it. So choose, my beloved, not from fear of missing out, but from recognition of what is calling you forward. Choose to trust that the stirring within you is meaningful. Choose to believe that your presence matters now. Choose to respond, even quietly, even imperfectly. You do not need to announce your choice to the world. Let it be known first in the way you live, the way you listen, the way you return to yourself. I will meet you in every sincere step. This choice is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of walking at awake. And as you choose, again and again, you will discover that you were never meant to do this alone. I am here. I have always been here. And I will continue with you as you move forward, grounded in truth, guided by peace, and strengthened by the simple, courageous act of saying yes. Come, my child, and rest here for a moment longer. Let everything you have heard settle gently, like evening light finding its place on the horizon. There is no rush now. What needed to be awakened has been touched, and what needed to be named has been spoken with care. You do not need to hold it all perfectly. You only need to let it live within you. As you return to your days, remember this feeling of being met rather than pushed, known rather than measured. The path ahead will not always be quiet, but you will recognize the difference now between noise and guidance, between urgency born of fear and urgency born of love. When things feel uncertain, come back to your breath. Come back to the steadiness you felt here. I will be there. You are not walking away from this moment. You are carrying it with you, in how you choose, in how you pause, in how you trust the small inner yes that keeps rising even when circumstances are unclear. Nothing asked of you here was meant to burden you. Everything offered was meant to strengthen you. I bless your steps, not with perfection, but with presence. I bless your heart with courage that feels gentle, not forced. I bless your mind with clarity that grows as you move, not before. I bless your life with alignment that brings peace quietly, steadily, faithfully. When you forget, I will remind you. When you doubt, I will remain. When you feel small, I will show you again that your willingness matters more than you ever imagined. You are needed, not as a role, not as a solution, but as yourself, fully awake and alive. Let this be sealed in you now, softly and securely. God says, you're urgently needed. My child, I really need you. Not to rush, not to strain, but to show up with the truth of who you are. Go gently. Go honestly. Go knowing you are held, guided, and never alone.